The Battletech Tactica question. Are heavy mechs worth it? Fritz, how can you even ask that question? I've been following your Battletech channel now for some time, and we know you love big guns. We know you love heavy and assault mechs, the Warhammer, the Marauder, the Rifleman. Not that light mechs don't have their place, but this is building on a vlog I posted last week up to the Battletech archives here, the playlist, asking the question, if we're going to take on an Atlas, it's like a challenge, right? Clan challenge. What is the lowest battle value or lightest lance or lightest attack group that 6 out of 10, 8 out of 10 times you could engage and defeat an Atlas? And one of the things, of course, that we see in Battletech, and this is true in other wargaming systems, this idea of military units that are ranked based on a point value. Because that point value is used to determine, and in this case it's battle value, but it could be C-bills, it could be tonnage, it could be squadron points, battle points, power points, whatever you want to call it. This idea that I have a certain set number of points, you have a certain set number of points, and we can come up with a fair game. So from that perspective, what you see is, based on the rules of engagement in Battletech, if I take a heavy or an assault mech for that battle value, and I flood the table with light mechs or vehicles, and it doesn't have to be something deadly like a Saladin. It could just be more kind of medium tier type tanks. A Saladin is a hover vehicle with an autocannon 20. That's all it has. That's all it needs. Low battle value. Drive that up, blast away. What you see just based on the rules, and it's not that the rules are flawed, it's the simulation of the game. An Atlas is slower. Heavy mechs are slower. But ultimately, any mech in any weight class can only engage so much. You have your primary firing arc, your left and your right. Maybe you're something like the Dragon and you've got a little zap laser in the back. But you can only reliably engage so much. If you are swarmed by something, and this could even be a light mech. If I'm playing a light mech and I get swarmed by 3 other light mechs, I'm in trouble. Well, in battle value and the way initiative works, it's just kind of mathematics. I can flood the table with a lot of lesser stuff and just swarm you. So from that pure meta perspective, I think it's an interesting question when you look at Battletech and say, just go with lights and mediums. We won't even get into the craziness of combined arms. Let's just say, keep it simple, Fritz. Mechs versus mechs. Lights and mediums, and swarm your assaults and just overpower you and just blast away. Especially with this idea of Battletech kind of being modern tanks. And what I mean by that is, or tank implementation, front armor is where it's all at. The mechs, all of them, if you really look, adjusted for tonnage. And this is decidedly so. It's part of the narrative in the game. Rear armor is a problem. There's not much back there. I mean, yeah, an awesome mech, literally an awesome assault mech, has more rear armor than some mediums and lower lights on the front. But for the tonnage, it's still weak back there. So anytime you can swarm, and of course, that's a Tactica. We're not even talking about taking like 20 Savannah Masters. That's like an inflatable pool tube with a lawn chair, a gasoline engine, and a medium laser. That's all you have. And we'll just put like a roll cage on it and a little fiberglass to make you think you've got something. Essentially a bug screen. That's it. You take like 20 of those, that's like 20 medium lasers. Just zappy, zappy, zappy. Here you go. I mean, on initiative alone. So something like that, if we look in that meta, how do we counter that? Or how do we account for that? Well, I won't say that would be a boring game to play. And certainly the different mechs and the different things to explore is what makes Battletech interesting. But what is going to change that is the mission. This is one of the things that we have to kind of step out from. What games are you playing? What strategies are you playing? Now, a lot of my Battletech games are just kind of head-to-head, and we kind of go and we kind of try to blow each other up. That's a lot of fun. But in the books, in the systems, in just pulling in generic wargaming missions, there are lots and lots of missions that are out there. You can have your swarm, but all of a sudden, if it's hold multiple points on a city, attack multiple points at the same time, well, are you really going to be able to outnumber those targets? Are you going to be able to outnumber those heavies and those assaults? They're going to be able to take you on piece by piece. So this then gets into the kind of design philosophy, and we explored this with list building. I also pushed up some list building tactica to the Wargaming playlist on my channel here. How you build your list. I mean, do you kind of take your PowerPoints, battle value, C-bills, tonnage, and focus on one aspect? The strength of heavy and assault mechs, I'm just going to pour all my points into it. Or do you do the swarm, right? These kind of extreme ends, bookending each other. Or do you kind of go in and say, I'm going to build a generalized list. It's going to have some powerful pieces, but I'm going to have critical mass. I'm going to have volume of dice, all this type of stuff. So this way, I am adaptable to whatever mission that I find. So certainly these exercises are interesting to ask in the rules, and we need to be aware of them if we find ourselves in them on the tabletop, but also realizing it's not as cut and dry as just a kind of hex map analysis where just put a bunch of mechs down and see what happens, although that is a lot of fun. The mission determines so much in Battletech, and the ability and how to adapt to that mission. So from that perspective, yes, heavies and assaults are absolutely worth it. They absolutely have a place. And for the battle value, if you can use them correctly, they are extremely deadly.